cause I'm mass destruction. Guess who's here? The bad boys of wrestling. Just in competition, win the war, that's their mission. Not no mercy, see the rings like the street. If you don't know, you better find out the wolf pack. Here to prove a point, number one, best believe that you don't want to tussle with them. I'll be here for them, come in the ring with them, you're never walking out again. Don't turn your back on the wolf pack. Don't turn your back on
the Happy Thursday. What is going on, people? We got a good one lined up for you tonight. I'm Dan. William, how you doing, man?
What's going on?
Man, you guys missed a good one just before we came on in. That's all.
That's all I got to say about that.
All we're gonna say, man. It's the things that happen behind the scenes here. But behind the scenes tonight, we're gonna give our workers a rest. And we got announced teams coming on tonight, guys. We all talk about this. Who's the best announced team? Who do you like hearing? Who did you grow up with? This, that, and the other. Who's the best ever? Well, you know what? Hopefully, the show by the fans for the fans can pretty much come to a conclusion on that. Maybe tonight, maybe down the road. And just the parameters on this. We're not just talking about the people who are talking about the in-ring action. We're talking about backstage interviewers, all of it. So if you guys got any suggestions, please throw them out there. Somebody that we'll miss, because we're due to miss some here and there, because no one's perfect except Kurt Hennig.
That's it.
You know what? As usual, right there. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody. So I'm going to start off with this announced team, because I don't want to go with the great ones right out of the gate.
Oh no, we can't. No.
No. So I'm gonna go with the team of Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
And we're gonna go first hour of Nitro. So it's gonna be Tony Schiavone, Larry Zabisco.
All right.
And Mongo McMichael or Iron Mike Tenay.
Was Mike today first hour?
First hour,
because they did a lot of the cruiserweights and then the luchas and all of those guys, and he knew there was nobody that Mike Tenay did not know. They called him the professor for a reason. That dude knew everybody.
Iron Mike Tenay knew what was going on tomorrow. I mean, you could ask him, and you'd be like, "Yeah, well, just call me on the WCW hotline."
Yeah, and he was one reason why I watched Nitro like I watched Nitro back then, because he taught you something. Like, there was always guys who you had heard of coming up through the ranks of WCW before Nitro was a thing. Everybody watched Main Event and Saturday Night and stuff like that, and Clash of Champions and everything. So everybody knew like the main guys, but nobody knew who the lower mid-card guys were, or the curtain jerkers. Nobody knew who they were. And Mike Tenay, literally, it didn't matter what promotion you came from before you got to WCW. It just didn't matter if you were, overseas, Mexico, somewhere, in the country. Mike Tenay knew who you were. He's
the one who sold me on Flash Norton.
Yeah.
He did, because I'm like, who is this guy? And then
this big dude.
This big monster.
Right.
In Japan, he was definitely the big monster over there. And of course, I had no way of knowing that if it weren't for the professor, Iron Mike Tenay.
And one time I can recall that he had zero information on someone in the ring, and that was when Goldberg debuted. Nobody knew anything. Allegedly, nobody knew anything. I think that was part of the whole, the whole gimmick with him. Yeah, which was cool. But, to be watching Nitro for, what was Nitro on for like 3 years at that point before Goldberg got there? And Mike
like 2.5-3 years,
Yeah, he came on pretty early. And, just getting used to him and learning from him. And then like, whoa, Mike Tenay don't know nothing? Like, that was a shock.
It was a big shock. I mean, I think I remember that. And we're just like, we're waiting. It's like, okay.
Like, okay, Tenay, who is this dude? And he's like, I don't know nothing. I almost wanted to turn, but
And then there was he did have a heel run for a little bit.
Tenay
had a heel run.
Was it an Impact?
It was an Impact, but
okay, I wasn't really.
It was an Impact, and that's what really surprised me, because he was just a dude to me. I mean, just a dude who knew a lot about wrestling. I mean, okay. That'd be just like putting one of us on there, and then we just turn heel for no reason.
I don't know about all of that.
Yeah. All right, after
I might have a brain cell's worth of Mike Tenay's knowledge.
Well, yeah, like a tenth of that. I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
Right, I have like their brain cells worth of Mike Tenay's knowledge. I mean, but he was a good balance to Zabisco and Schiavone. So that's a good one to start with. Even though we didn't talk about the other two guys, but
no, we didn't talk about the other two guys. But
I'm pretty sure Tony's gonna get mentioned a couple more times.
Oh, Tony will get mentioned a couple more times. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, but with that, it was like the way that they set it up was like, the color guy was Schiavone, and then you got your heel and your face announcer. But that really didn't happen with that. You had two color guys, and then a worker or a legend, because Dusty was in that booth for a little while too.
Yeah,
the first hour.
Dusty was a lot first hour.
Dusty was, and then Mongo was.
Yeah,
with the Chihuahua.
Yeah, Fifi.
Yes. So that was just first hour, and then second hour came. And second hour came, and it was still the first two guys.
Yeah,
it was still the first two guys. It was Schiavone and Iron Mike, and then they brought in Bobby the Brain.
Oh yeah,
who will come up again in our list.
Much later.
Much later. But going into but yes, you're right. Hour number one, we had all the. Well, they're just trying to trim the fat and get all the young guys out there, give them some TV time. You're right.
Exactly.
I mean, that first hour was with that team was. That was good chemistry from the rip going into the bigger matches in the second hour. So
absolutely, because it kept you interested, because again, Mike Tenay was just like dropping gems.
It was a fountain of information, man.
Yeah, so that really kept you interested in watching that first hour. So honestly, if it wasn't for the first hour of Nitro, I don't think any of us would know who Jericho is today.
Jericho or Eddie, the Lawn Dart.
Right, him too.
Ultimo Dragon, he's another one, and then like
Thunder Liger.
Yep, all of the above. El Dandy. Oh, wait, and I'd be remiss because he'd also taught me a thing or two about the chairman.
Oh yeah, La
Parka.
Yes.
So La Parka was basically, I got my fountain of information from Iron Mike tonight. So thank you, Iron Mike, for making me a fan of La Parka. Him and DDP. So.
Oh yeah, he did dress up as La Parka that one time.
Dressed up as La Parka and threw the diamond cutter to I forgot who it
was. I think that was an NWO setup or something. He might have gotten Hall or somebody more his size. Savage. No, that wasn't a Savage setup.
It wasn't Savage.
Even that feud was totally.
It could have even been like Walton. Who knows?
Yeah, whoever the whipping boy could have been Buff. Should have been Buff.
Should have been Buff butt smell.
Always should have been Buff. So I'm gonna go backstage with mine.
Yes. I was gonna say let's go backstage for a minute.
I'm gonna go backstage with mine, and I mentioned him last week because I was hoping that he'd pop up in a commercial. I was really just getting into wrestling toward the end of his run in the WWF, but we'll go with Craig DeGeorge.
Craig DeGeorge, wow, you're reaching back there, man.
I am reaching back. WWF logo on the blazer. He did a lot of the those podium interviews back in the day with Superstar. I missed those, man. Those were so. They tried to get back to that, but it didn't really.
It didn't really take off.
It didn't really take off. I guess because of COVID, but when we started to have fans back, I think
they even bring them back.
Yeah, please do, because those were great, man. I can remember some of the best ones that he did. I think he did the one where the one right before SummerSlam '88, the setup for that with DiBiase, Savage, and Andre.
Yeah,
I think he did that.
Mega Powers, the Mega Bucks. He did do that one.
That was toward the end of his run. He did a lot of them with Terry because obviously he just hogged the mic in the '80s. And then his studio stuff wasn't bad. He was real solid in the studio too. Him and Alfred kind of teamed up and did some studio stuff once or twice. But I'm gonna go way back. I wonder whatever happened to Craig DeGeorge though. He just disappeared. Like
he really. You know what? We're gonna get an answer for you because he really did just disappear.
Yeah, he just vanished off TV. He wasn't written off. They didn't put him in a match where he had to dive in manure or something, or anything like that. No, they didn't do him like
Yeah, they didn't give him a send off. They just
sent him off. Like,
that's
bye.
basically it.
Later, Craig. I don't even
Later,
remember.
Craig. Yeah.
Mean Gene took over the studio after that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's a host of Marlins Live and former host of Panthers Live, so he's doing something in Miami.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he was. That's about it. He was actually an announcer for the defunct UWF as well. So
okay.
So he didn't completely
found
fall
work.
off.
He just wasn't on the mainstream.
No.
He was around for a while though. He was around for a good minute.
He really was, man. But yes, I do recall the podium interviews that he used to do. They were pretty good. But you know what? Why don't we keep it backstage? And if we're gonna go with backstage interviewers, I'm gonna keep it. Well, I'm gonna say Eric Bischoff in the AWA.
Whoa,
we're gonna reach back.
Yeah, that's a little further back than where I was.
We're gonna reach back. See,
that was back there. Yeah,
it was back there because it's not even a little known fact, but he was the announcer and he sat pretty. That's what segued him into WCW, into his role over there was just him being that presence on TV for the AWA. And so I believe he took over for Mean Gene as well.
Okay, so that was early 80s, almost mid 80s.
Early mid 80s, he took over for Mean Gene when Mean Gene went to New York. with the rest of the cast.
The rest of the gang, yeah.
So yeah, I mean Eric Bischoff, he had his time. He did his time, and then you know what? I'll even just to follow that up, just to get it out of the way. When he used to do it solo, I will say Vince McMahon. When he was just learning, when he was kind of just, I don't want to say just learning the business, but just when things were just kind of starting to take off for him.
When he was
interviewing,
Andre
by the ringside.
Yep.
A couple of Nikolai Volkov. Yep.
So I think, a lot of Iron Sheik. I know he did a lot of Iron Sheik interviews.
Yes, he did.
Vince was real big, and always has been real big on promos and being able to cut a decent promo and a something that is gonna just catch the ear of the crowd. But I think a lot of that came from that time when he was doing a lot of the ringside interviews and stuff like that when he was announcing that kind of
building his brand.
And helped him develop this whole, I'm going to say it, this whole stupid ass sports entertainment bullshit that he has us watching now. Like, dude, you took over a professional wrestling organization and you give us this 39 years later. Like, this is what you do to us. Thanks.
Because remember, I mean, and even that, and this is going on with him and with his other partners that we'll be naming later, that he, like with his announced team later on down the line.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But I mean, again, he was just building his brand. He knew what he had. So I've always said it, the best person who could sell you is you.
That's correct.
Which is pretty much what he did,
and
here we are. You're right.
Right.
Here we are. We're sports entertainment.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, Vince held his own early on, like right before they gave him, because I don't even remember who his first partner was. I want to say Bruno.
Yeah, I want to say Bruno as well. Bruno, I mean, I know who his I know who his last partner was.
Yeah, of course, we'll get to him.
No. I'm not. No, before we get to him, but another, and I'll say this going. This is kind of jumping forward in this, but not nearly as recognized. Vince McMahon and Stan Lane.
Yeah, I do remember Stan Lane doing Superstars with Vince in the mid '90s, right before Raw, or right around the same time Raw was just taking off.
Yeah, it was like the transitional time between primetime wrestling and Raw.
Yeah, that was when Superstars was kind of hard to watch though, because there was a lot of the cartoony gimmicks and
Bob Sparky Plug
right,
and
I don't know how much. You're right, Thurman Sparky Plug.
Thurman, that's right.
Thurman Sparky Plug.
Thurman Sparky Plug.
With Body Donnas and all of that.
Body Donnas and I mean, geez, I couldn't think of anybody. The Beverly Brothers.
Beverly Brothers was before that.
Before that, yeah, they were before
they were
that.
actually okay though. They were bearable.
Doink was still running around.
Yeah,
Skinner.
A whole lot of nothing going on.
Whole lot of nothing going on.
Duke the
right.
Dumpster Drosy and all that. That's a whole nother episode, man.
Like bad gimmicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we'll do bad gimmicks soon.
We'll do that soon.
We could wing that one too. That one is too easy.
But yeah, I mean, Vince McMahon and Stan Lane, one that's overlooked. I mean, pretty decent. It was solid.
Yeah. Stan Lane, I think he kind of tried too hard, and sometimes there was some, because I'm still watching those episodes that they're putting up with Superstars now with him on, and it's he did a little too much. You know who was good though? Vince and Ted DiBiase weren't bad either.
No, they weren't.
They weren't bad, and neither were Vince and Mr. Perfect.
Nope. Perfect was good behind them.
But it's Mr. Perfect. I mean,
Perfect.
He can do anything.
He can do anything. But you know what? We're going to take a break from that for a little bit because everybody knows what time it is. Lit of the Week, sponsored by the fine folks over at Infinite Banner Podcast. Your home for old school hip hop. What do you got?
So, until I get a new one, this is the last one I got on my rotation because I lost my Blue Jays hat last summer. I just realized that. Yeah. So. And maybe I wore this one before. I don't know. But
I have a feeling you might have, but who knows?
I don't know. Who gives a damn anyway?
Yeah, all right.
We're gonna find somebody else old school that played for this team.
All right, I can do that. Oh yeah, you've done this. Oh, and I've got the. All right, go on. What's your reasoning? It's just because you had the last one?
That and they've been my favorite American League team since I was like 10. Or something.
Nice, yeah. I mean, listen, I was around during that era when they were blowing up with the Griffies, a young steroid-free Alex Rodriguez, Edgar Martinez, but the honor of the old school player of the week goes with Stone Cold Steve Austin's lookalike, Mr. Jay Buhner.
I was thinking Jay Buhner. That was my guy. Yo, I had a security guard, and Casey, if you watching. Or Patrick or anybody who's watching I went to high school, y'all gonna know who I'm talking. This dude's name was Nate. Nate looked like Jay Buhner. Like he's gotten older and he's gained a lot of weight. I've been out of high school 20 years. Yeah, I mean he married to a black woman, so he's been eating good for 20 years too. But he was like we used to call him RoboCop. Like the dude was when we were freshmen, and Pat's a year older than me, but he looked like Stone Cold Jay Buhner. But yeah, Jay Buhner was my guy though. He was what did he play third or he was a DH? No, Tino.
Yeah, no, I thought
Edgar was the DH. Yeah, Edgar was the DH because he was getting old.
But he would DH sometimes.
Yeah, I think Jay played right field. I think he played right field.
I believe he played
right field. He was out, but man, that dude, he was a scary looking dude.
He looked like Stone Cold.
Yeah, Stone Cold Jay Buhner.
So yes, Jay Buhner, you are our old school player of the week.
Number
Mark
19.
Jones, how did we do on that one? I know you're still bitter about our Cubs history.
Yo, some dude bought in a ball from it wasn't actually from the World Series, but it was like one of them commemorative World Series baseballs, and he bought it in, and I thought he was gonna give it to me at first. I was like, yo, this is dope. But no, hey, seriously though, like on a side note, I got recognized today, man.
Oh yeah,
it was cool. Yeah, some dude was like, "Hey, don't you do that wrestling show on YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
Dude, you're famous. We're getting there.
Like, yo, we're on tonight, 9:05. So I don't remember the dude's name, but the guy that saw me,
we'll do an early shout out to him, and and you know what's even funnier? Before we dive back into it, was before I got on here, and I go on to YouTube and I find our commercial for the evening, which is going to be good, by the way.
Oh, okay.
We actually had. I know I'm making a bigger deal out of this than maybe I should, but we actually had our first outsider comment from somebody I don't know.
Oh, wow.
And it's under our episode 2. It's under our episode 2 video. But, so I'm going to shout her out. Her.
Okay.
It's somebody named Ashley. That's all I know.
Oh, well, whoever she is, thanks for
watching.
I hope you subscribe.
We'll definitely take it. But,
Yeah.
Once again, we're talking about announce teams. Unless either of those people are on an announce team, we're not talking about you right now. Or backstage interview, we're not talking about you right now.
You know, had nothing to do with
Which
the
brings me
microphone.
which brings me to a backstage announcer, a little more recent. I'm going to say Christy Hemme for Impact.
Mm-hmm. She did a pretty good job.
She's been pretty consistent. They're basically their flagship.
Yeah.
For their backstage interviewers, as to where, other people would be doing it for, the people we'll be talking about later in other companies. But Christy Hemme was, I don't want to say was probably the first one, but I mean she. How do I want to word this? I was going to say she separated herself from the pack.
Yeah.
When it comes to backstage interviewers, women in the back. Mm-hmm. At least, because you only saw him for maybe a second.
Right.
But, Christy Hemme's been steadily doing it under the radar here for quite a while, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I fell off watching Impact years ago when it started to get, like, bad. So by the time she got around to working there, I really wasn't into it. I would catch episodes here and there, and what I did see, she wasn't doing a bad job. You can tell that, it was stuff that she had done before. She was comfortable. She didn't seem like she was. They didn't have her in some like ditzy backstage interview character role, just
like they did with Maria Kanellis.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a relief to see because they do kind of favor. But yeah, but Christy Hemme was a good one. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the table.
Okay.
With this one, and I am going to go with this. Might be a little too early, but maybe we can delve in. I'm gonna go with Gorilla and Jess right now.
Gorilla and Jess was a solid team.
I'm gonna go with Gorilla and Jess right now. Only because talking about them is definitely gonna take us into commercial. But I mean, they were super solid. Like, yeah, I honestly say that that team is easily in my top 5 ever. Well,
they would have to be, only because it was like there was so much knowledge there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like meant to be. To me, if it was meant to be comical, they did a bad job at putting those two together. But
right.
With that being said, they put them together and it made us more knowledgeable. You feel me?
You know what was rare? The worker team. Like Gorilla Monsoon was so well spoken, you would completely forgotten that he used to wrestle.
Yeah, you forgot Jesse, he was the man from Manchuria.
Right. Jesse, even as an announcer, you could tell he used to wrestle, even just in how he sounds. And he wouldn't even necessarily have to be talking about wrestling, but if you just random flipping channels and you heard Jesse the Body Ventura on Superstars or something like that, you know that you were listening to somebody who used to be in the ring. Right. But they complimented each other so well, man. Gorilla knew so much. He was so well spoken,
and I mean, it's so rare. It's rare nowadays,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever have like that. You don't have the worker.
Not like that, and not anybody who had like done anything to be remembered as a worker. Like Byron used to wrestle, but
yeah, Byron Saxton used to wrestle, but obviously so did Graves. So
and since we're there, why not? I was gonna wait to mention, but I mean, I really think that those two, if given the chance without somebody else in the middle, like this dude they got on Raw, I don't know his name. He's cool. His name Justin Wood, whatever his name is, the new dude that replaced.
The new guy that replaced Adnan after a damn week.
Right. So I mean, he's okay. I don't really, he doesn't really say anything that stands out yet. He's new, but they don't need him. Graves and Saxton can carry Raw on their own. Like, let them carry the show on their own. They
don't need a straight man.
They don't. They can be up there with the best of them. I'm not gonna say no names.
They really could. No, we're not gonna say no names yet. But I mean, you're right. They could be up there.
But I mean, they can seriously be up there. Like, with.
But the problem is, everybody is just so engulfed right now in the 3-person announce team, where you have a neutral party, a heel, and a face. And
You don't need a neutral party. You don't. You really don't. It's worked with two people for years.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, I'm gonna save this one for the commercial since you said two people. So I'm gonna save it, but we're still on Gorilla and Jesse because I remember a few Saturday mornings seeing that, and hell, even a couple pay-per-views.
Yeah, they would do any pay-per-view together where Bobby Heenan had a bunch of matches to manage. So they would
he had a bunch of them to manage, and then
and I think the only time
of them they put someone else in, someone else in commentary and let Heenan do his thing, and then come back.
And I was gonna say the only time that the only pay-per-view I remember them not doing together in the early '80s where Bobby wasn't a part of it was SummerSlam '88 because Jess was part of the main event. And man, I was annoyed by Superstar Billy Graham that whole event. Whew. Even watching it back is hard to listen to. Like,
it really is.
Shut up.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you another announced team if we're going to stick on the worker pairing. How about the often rare, through the summer of the 90s, or at least 3 summers of the 90s, where you had Gorilla and Piper? That's why it didn't last as long as it did.
Right. I mean,
you got to get both ends of the spectrums if you're going to have worker. You have the good with Gorilla and Jesse, and then you have the with Piper and Piper and Gorilla.
Yeah, he wasn't always good on the mic.
Not always.
He wasn't always good on the mic. Promo wise, if it was just him and you, yeah. But if he has to be a neutral party, my issue with Roddy as a commentator is you heard it. He still wanted to be in the ring. He couldn't separate himself from competitor, from competitor to announcer. A lot of athletes have that issue. When it's time for them to stop doing what they're doing and kind of transition into another role. That's why I think you don't see a lot of, like, I'm a big basketball fan, but let's just use sports in general. Like a lot of guys use
sports in general, don't matter.
A lot of guys when they retire, you don't see them for a couple years and they pop up on TV. That's because
like Chris Webber, yes.
Why? Why did he work right now? Why did he work right now? Well,
that's why. Go ahead.
No, I didn't. But you don't, because they're taking that time to separate themselves from, I don't want to be bitter because I just stopped playing and I'm going to be super critical, to let me just sit back and, not be the athlete no more and see if I can do it. But Piper had that issue. Savage had that issue. And, I guarantee you, Paul White's about to have that issue. Maybe not so much Mark Henry, but yeah, man, he was tolerable to an extent, but I wouldn't say that they were a memorable duo. Like, I see how I cringe when you brought it up.
No, I got you, but I mean, if you're gonna bring up the good worker combo, you gotta bring up the not so good.
The not so good, the average or slightly below average. Because I don't want to say he was bad. He just, he just had a hard time with that separation. And
just transitioning was. Yeah, it seemed kind of hard for him. But
and he screamed a lot. Like, he yelled a lot, especially when Virgil was feuding with DiBiase. Oh man, Jesus Christ! Like, somebody get him some oxygen, or
I know, man. It's only Virgil,
a sedative or something, right?
For real.
You blowing your top over Michael Soul Train Jones, dude? Like, what?
Mike Jones. Who? Okay.
Soul Train Jones.
Well, now that we've got through that, we've got a lot more in store. I've got a good one for you when we come back, because right now we're about to go to commercial. And you know what? Since we're talking about announced teams, backstage announcers, and I know he's going to be brought up in a little while, I just got to do these just because, you know what? Not all backstage interviewers are perfect. So, take a look.
I don't know if I'd buy a lot of those. They may not be selling. You got any tips for me here? Any special stock I should be looking at?
Can I say hi to Mom? Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
I'll tell you what, this Kamala is just a bundle of laughs. By God, he's done it all.
One thing, I got a great amateur background. Let's look at that body. 22-inch chest, 58-inch arms.
Come on. Oh, I beg your pardon?
Listen, Jim.
Yes, Iron Sheik, the great 1984 Turkey tournament. You're going to be part of it.
You know, I really don't care about that stupid idiot turkey tournament. He reminds me look like Hulk Hogan. Look at his son, look at him. Now that redneck stayed down. Ah, tough. I'm not interested that idiot turkey tournament.
Potato the turkey.
Or anybody's going to come out here and put down Thanksgiving or America. And especially, you're not going to come out here and spit on the country where
The
thousands of military people that lay in them, in the soil. Not only military, but my own mother lays in the soil of America. And you're spitting on her grave when you do that. So you remember this, Iron Sheik. When that match starts, all the people are going to hear the national anthem. And they're going to be standing loud, and they're going to be standing proud and tall. And they're going to hear what it's like to be an American. And then, when it's all over, after they play the national anthem, after they
I think the YouTube police got me again this time, and they were like, "Yeah, we've heard enough of your outtakes from me and Gene Okerlund." I was waiting for the good.
Yo, Kamala was hilarious.
The one with Rick Rude. When he's about to, where the sign's about to. You know what? I'm gonna find it. We're gonna end up. We're talking about it now, teams, guys. Just remember it as usual. Find us on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe, and you can get recognized out in public.
Or at work.
Awesome. Honestly, that's dope, man. We never.
Yeah,
That
it
guy
was
does
like
that wrestling show on YouTube.
It was like right
Yes,
toward
I
the end.
am.
It was like right toward the end of the day too.
That's awesome, man.
It was slow as hell. Yeah, okay.
Shit, usually I get I'm the Charlie's guy. Or, oh my God, are you the karaoke guy on Saturday nights? Yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
That'd
I
be
am.
me.
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
me. I got more fans than Mojo Rawley now.
But I do have I did tell you that I have a good one for you. And we were talking about the three man, how that announced team, how that doesn't work. They should just go back to 2-man. But you know what? Everybody's forgetting about the best 1-man announced team in the business. That was Joey Styles. For ECW, yeah. He called Joey all of those matches by himself.
Nobody else.
And it was just him, and he. Yeah.
And
to say he oversold a few of those was an understatement. I mean, he was like literally screeching and screaming.
Right, all he had to bounce off of was the walls. It's not like he just,
right, he didn't have any. Yeah. He didn't have anybody to talk to. He didn't have anybody. Anybody to bounce ideas. It was just him.
Right, it was just him, and I don't even think he had a monitor.
No,
he might have just been calling it just, from where he was at. Or maybe, I don't know, because ECW used to be all over the place. You had to have a monitor to pick up with all of that, keep up with all that stuff. But yeah, right. Joey Styles, yeah. It was oof.
And then we all know what happened when Vince got a hold of him. So, I mean,
damn zombies and Sci-Fi Network and
the Sci-Fi Network.
Why, Vincent? Just why? I never understood that dude, man. Like, really. Like, once he was old enough for that AARP card, he was kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Just fuck it.
Pretty much.
Whatever. Here, they're gonna watch it anyway because ain't nothing else on. So.
Okay, well, I got a good one for you. So, since we were talking about Mean Gene, I'm hoping this works. Here we go. Let's try it.
Gentlemen, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. It's publicly stated that. Damn it, who put that up? Is that?
That was the interview that I was telling you about, if you could see it. But he's interviewing Rick Rude. If I need to get sound because
I heard it. Oh,
gentlemen, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. It's publicly stated that. Damn it, who put that up? Is that $200 an hour?
He just said, fuck it.
Gene, we can't keep that. We can't keep that, Gene. And you know, Gene probably had a shot or two before he punched the clock, man. Gene.
Well, since we're talking about announced teams, we have to talk about Mean Gene, the best backstage interviewer ever.
Man.
Ever.
Yo.
But yeah, Mean Gene, yeah, I met him once in Warwick.
Yeah.
When Monday Nitro used to come around, they'd like make appearances like at whatever city they were at, didn't matter. So they went to the Warwick Mall because Prov Place wasn't really built yet. And it was just so funny because the night before they were out in Seekonk, Mass at the sports bar, and he was out seeing out getting like obliterated. I mean that man could put down some booze from what I understand.
Yeah, he was always.
I think he'd probably be the only one to rival Andre, from what I'm hearing.
Which is crazy because Gene is like
3 feet tall.
Right, exactly. Gene's small. Yeah, but Gene, man, like to me, Ric Flair kind of reinvented Mean Gene. You know, I mean, everybody was so caught up in, you know, with what Terry was doing with him, and which was cool till, you know, we found out that he was a dick. But Ric Flair kind of reinvented Mean Gene to me. I was, man, whenever I would hear Tony Schiavone, Mean Gene's interviewing Ric Flair, yep, I'm here for it because I know how it's going to start off. Every single time. And Rick never let me down. I love watching Mean Gene interview Ric Flair, man.
Oh, definitely, man. Ric Flair did. That's all. You had to look forward to that because you get a pop every single time.
Every single time, and it was the cheap one too, because he would always mention the city that they were in.
Oh, he folied it big time, man.
Oh yeah, I think he did it a little better though, because it was Rick. We are live.
That's right, we are live. Mean. I have to find that one, man. Just
a whole month. I know there are many montages. There are many. Yeah, this is my favorite one.
Hey! Woo! My God! Jeez! Mean Gene!
Definitely this one.
Bischoff used to say to me, don't go out there and go Mean Gene anymore. I'm tired of hearing it. So, Bischoff, this is for you. Mean! Woo! My God! Woo! My God! Gene! Woo!
Those were the best ones. Those you're right. Those were definitely the
best.
Man,
he reinvented Mean Gene with that one.
That was way better than Let Me Tell You Something, Mean Gene.
Well, yeah, look, hindsight being 2020, absolutely. Absolutely.
Even still, I back then I still would have said it too. Way better. Way better reaction.
Of course. Oh yeah, because you know Terry ran into the ground and there was really no crowd participation. It was just always about him. Fuck him. Anyway,
I still remember when they were in Greensboro and they did that.
Yeah.
And we're in Greensboro, North Carolina, and we're looking good. I think that was the night he threw his Gucci shoe into the freaking crowd. His $800 Gucci shoes flying right into the crowd.
Sure, he either got it back or had another pair behind the curtain.
Oh, yeah. That was just his Monday pair.
Right.
So, you're right.
Now, commercial break, I'll have something different on.
Yeah, you went mean effing Gene.
Yeah, Gene was... Gene, man.
He set the bar, man.
He really did. He really did.
You look forward to everything, whether it's the event center, whether he made an appearance on Primetime Wrestling doing that. I mean,
a vignette,
All American Wrestling. Yep. All American Wrestling was Sunday morning was his.
Mm-hmm. Saturday, he did some really good Saturday night main event ones. He did some really good Saturday night main event ones.
Oh, he did great ones. I mean, he was right there in the back when Perfect.
He was the only one. Yeah, he was the only one.
And then occasionally they'd send Jesse back there just to do it. Right. And then
real quick,
a couple times it'd be Lord Alfred Hayes. Lord Alfred Hayes.
It's my guy.
That's my guy, bro. I feel I'm not making fun.
No, Alfred was the man.
Of course he was. Sean Mooney is another one.
Sean Mooney was the guy.
Mooney, both all of them guys always have a spot here in the filler segment, and of course, the guy we saw this past Sunday, the GOAT.
Sure did.
GOAT. Todd Pettengill. TP. Todd Pettengill. TP. So and then I'm going to give an honorable mention for backstage, and it's a real high honorable mention. Says we have to mention Charlie Caruso.
Yeah. Chuck was solid for years, man. Chuck was good.
They were saying that the next Mean Gene. I mean, they threw that around a couple times about Chuck.
I must have dropped that pass. I wasn't paying attention to that one. I don't know about all that.
I don't know about all that, but closest thing, and then Renee Young.
Yeah, she was really good.
Transitioned from the back to the booth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was really good.
And before we can get into like the bigger guys, because I'm looking at our timer and we're like coming up on it. We're coming up here pretty soon on the end because we're having so much fun. We can't forget about our guys at the international announce tables. Like we got Showaguchi and
everybody
and Funaki
and
then Ray Rougeau for the French.
Yeah.
For the French, and then you got
Corey Graves' homie Sean Dang. Was it Lung Hai? Either one. They all hang out. And
that's right. The Chinese Russian.
Oh yes, the Chinese Russian. How can we forget the Chinese Russian?
The Chinese Russian. I didn't know his name, but I just remember the Chinese Russian because we just laugh hysterically.
Yes, because I mean they're all right next to each other, so it kind of makes sense. But that
makes sense, but it's like,
rare. I've never seen.
You don't see it.
You don't see it every day. So
the Chinese Russian guy.
Shout out to him.
But if I knew how to speak French, Ray Rougeau would be my guy.
Ray Rougeau be your guy. Yeah,
Ray Rougeau would be my guy.
Ray Rougeau will beat your ass too. That's why he be my boy. I ain't fucking with Ray Rougeau.
You got to. And Chico was even announcer for the Spanish announce team for a stint.
For a little bit, and right before he formed Strike Force, apparently in 1986, he had on a short sleeve button up and a tie.
I remember when they first introduced the Spanish announce team to like prevalent to getting their table broke every time. But it was Chico Santana was there with the blazer on, with WWF logo.
Every time they said the Spanish announce team, like, oh, there goes one table.
I still remember the German announce table went a whole year.
There's another table,
and then it went a whole year without breaking.
Yeah.
And then it finally broke, and I'm like, wow, what a streak. What a streak.
Yep.
So I kept saying, my MVP was always the German announce table for not breaking.
So that fateful day, it was almost the biggest shock like as WrestleMania 30 when Undertaker.
I think it was. It was bigger.
It was like Undertaker, German announce table, 1A.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the German announce table on that one. I'm pretty stunned. It went a full year.
Above Taker and Lesnar, though?
No.
Okay, I was going to say Taker and Lesnar.
Up there with it.
Yeah, Taker and Lesnar 1, German announce table 1A. It's
100%.
Cool.
Yeah, right. I agree to those terms right there.
Okay, cool.
I almost made a memoriam to the German announce table that day.
Tim Bell salute.
Shock.
10-bell salute to the German announce table.
Yes, 10-bell salute to them.
Oh,
But, you know,
man.
let's get into it because we got about 15 minutes left. So I'd go ahead and say Vince and Jesse.
Yes.
Vince and Jesse, solid team.
Yeah.
I mean that's another like heel face combo because Vince leaned a little towards the face to push them into the
a little.
Yeah. You know how I said a little.
Yeah, just a smidge.
So, you know, he was like all over Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Jesse would always call him out on being unbiased, which was cool.
Jesse gave us Chico Santana and gave us Brudai.
He threw insults at Vince
all the time.
They were great. I know Vince was loving it. I know he was. Production meetings must have been the best.
I was like, just go ahead and lean into it.
Just lay in it. But yeah, man, they were good, man. Saturday night's main event.
Even a wrestling challenge.
Yeah, but they really got out on Saturday night's main event though, because it was like once a month, and you had to put your best stuff out there.
Right.
I remember one time Bobby Heenan was doing the Saturday night main event, and that was weird to me.
That was pretty weird to me too. But I mean, I remember. I remember them also. They were also the announce team for like them USA specials before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, they were.
It was always them. I mean, there was maybe one time Bobby Heenan was, and that's when he was just completely done with managing.
Yeah.
And I was okay with that because he needed to be there.
Right. But yeah, man, Vince and Jesse were really good. They gave us some good stuff.
And really, if that's your B team for your announce team,
right. Right.
Because the A team will bring up here in a little bit. But I mean, if that's your B team in that era, because it was the same era, that's your B team, you're not doing too bad.
No, not at all.
I mean, you didn't have anybody complaining about either one of them.
No.
Which brings me to, which I would have to say would go into my number 2 announce team of all time. Because this was tough. And because we all know what number 1 is. But number 2, I'd have to say King and Lawler. King and Lawler. Yep. And that we needed that chemistry back after Gorilla and everybody else, their exodus. We needed that back. And we got it.
Dude, man, I'm telling you, between them two together and just the nostalgia of having Bobby the Brain Heenan still announcing, I didn't really give a damn what was going on in the ring most of the time during the Attitude Era. Match-wise, it was always like segments and promos, but and they made it great. They made it great, man. Like Lawler and JR had so many memorable calls. Like that's who I feel like Saxton and Graves could be.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
They could be thrust into those top 3. Yes, top 3
easy
if they were just given the reins.
That's too. Yes, yeah, absolutely, just them too. But yeah, man.
I mean, even though we're not gonna get on. Oh my!
Nah, but
oh God,
they were. I mean, you could tell that chemistry was there off screen, that they were tight. They made it work, man. They made it work, and when they figured out that it was working, they ran with it and built on it. And the only thing that could stop them was Vince, and ultimately that's what it was. But
ultimately it was. I mean, he stopped him a couple times.
Yeah, but I mean, how many pay-per-views, how many WrestleManias, how many big fours in general, man.
Big moments. Not even just on pay-per-views, just big moments, but all around.
Taker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's where every JR was prevalent because
it's like I see him getting thrown off the cage in my head, and it's still not funny.
He killed him. That man is broken in half.
It's still not funny, but it's hilarious today.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. It wasn't funny, but it's like just listening to him just go on. It's like
no, I'm talking about hearing the table crash. Anyway,
yeah, well, that too. because right after that table crash, oh my, he's broken in half.
Man, yeah, that was
That
it.
man has a family.
But yeah, just any segment, any Austin segment, any Rock segment, because like for a while, The Rock was Lawler's dude. Like you couldn't tell Jerry Lawler shit about The
No, I
Rock.
remember.
And on the flip, Austin was JR's guy. So
Austin was JR's boy.
and they kind of made that work in the favor of the feud too, because it had you believing that even your announce team is choosing sides in this feud, like for real, not just I'm the heel announcer, I'm the face announcer. You're
right. They had us all believing, man.
Boy, oh boy.
Two voices of a generation right there.
Mm-hmm. But
we got to go to number one.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they do not compare to Gorilla and the Brain.
Will you stop?
Will you be serious?
Will you be serious? Every time.
Oh man, it's every single. It's funny every time.
Every time I knew it was them. Will you stop? Will you be serious?
Low key, and this is going to surprise a lot of people. One of my favorite pay-per-views with them two was the 1993 Royal Rumble.
When Flair won?
No, the year after when Yokozuna won.
Yeah.
Yo, the commentary. It may not have been the best pay-per-view. It may not have been the best one. But, man, the commentary, those two that night, up there with the best, man.
What do you mean? They are the best.
I'm saying just individual, single, one event type of man.
I mean, they put that. I mean, and that was their A team. Yes. I mean, they had them on Superstars. They had them on Primetime Wrestling in studio.
Mm-hmm.
Numerous pay-per-views.
Every pay-per-view, just about.
Numerous pay-per-views.
Every single pay-per-view, man. But
I mean, I still remember WrestleMania 7 after the Boss Man Perfect match. He got that one by the skin of your teeth, but we still got it. And Kathy Lee Gifford, I guess, was there, and he's like, "Yeah, I was waiting for that." He's like, "Isn't that Red Range's wife or some shit like that?"
Yeah, so he was always saying. He would always
Didn't she marry to Red Grange?
Always say something stupid. I don't remember where it was, what event it was. We had a basketball player named Larry Canary.
Yep, Larry Canary, but nothing tops the whole 3 months that he went insulting the Boss Man's mother.
No, I really wasn't cool with that though.
That was actually pretty funny. Some of the stuff that he said. Couldn't take her fishing because she ate the bait.
Wow. He would get you, man. He would get you. Seriously, like I'm never gonna not call somebody I've never seen before a ham and egger. Ever, never in life, ever. Thank you, Bobby the Brain. Humanoid is next. I ain't been. He put that phrase into our vernacular real quick. You ham and egger. Ham and egger, humanoid.
Humanoids, yep.
Humanoids. I used to laugh at that all the time when I was a kid.
I'm gonna sit here and talk to all the humanoids about Mr. Perfect.
Right, exactly. He was the first person I ever heard somebody call a ham and egger. I thought it was like just a one time. Nope. Every week somebody was a ham and egger.
It was a ham and egger. that was a good one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Gorilla could not do anything with that dude. Once he got going, it was.
And once again, you could tell their bond off camera was there, and we all know the story. The day that Heenan left, him and Gorilla,
I was just ready to say I like how they did that on screen, where Gorilla was the one because he was president at the time. And he was the one to throw him out when his contract was over, whatever. Right?
Yeah. Then afterwards, they hung up.
Threw a roll of toilet paper.
And then that sad day Gorilla passed, and WCW just kind of trying to write it off,
Yeah,
Bobby was like, I ain't having that.
I'm not doing that. And Heenan was the first person to drop an F-bomb on live TV.
I remember that.
What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm out of here, man.
Live TV.
Yeah, man. But yeah, those two. I can go on forever about those.
They're not gonna make they ain't gonna make they can't make it like make them like
Nope.
that anymore. And if they do, cool. But
Cool,
I
but
just,
nope. I
they,
don't
they
care.
can't make them like that anymore.
And you can't convince me that there will be another team like that. You ever like King and JR?
Potential, but no.
King and JR are as close as it gets, but they're not
That's
even
it.
close.
No, and I mean they're
They're not
close,
even
but
close.
are they? You know?
Nah, like you can see them, but that's about it.
That is about it, you know. But that's, I'm gonna watch some old school wrestling now.
Got to, yeah.
Got to now. I just want to hear him say it one time. Will you be?
Will
We're back to the
you
Masters.
stop?
Will you stop?
That was my one right there.
Always.
Love them two dudes, man.
Every Saturday, I look forward to that. So,
Oh yeah, of course, they made it worth watching. They
But,
definitely made it worth watching.
So that's our show. Announced teams. I think we covered it all, man. That was very good coverage there.
Yes.
I mean, if we left anybody out, please let me know. Because
Sorry, Michael Cole.
yeah, sorry, Mitchell.
Maggle.
Mitchell
JBL
Cole, and then what was it?
JBL was another good one.
Yeah, you wanted to. Yeah, JBL was. He's honorable mention. I'll throw him in there.
Yeah.
Taz
Shout
too.
out Taz, Vic Joseph, Mike Tom.
Mike Tom. Yes, exactly.
Hope Tom Mike finds some work soon.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't include Mike Adamle on this list for a reason because he sucked.
Yeah, because he was horrible. He just didn't fit in WWE at all.
Yep, and Dio Madden, shout out to you for at least trying for a week.
Right. Now you're trying as a wrestler.
Now you're just trying to keep a job. But, yep. So there we go. There's our shout outs. I already gave my shout. I'm giving my shout out to the one YouTube person who threw their comment on our second video. So that's all you got to do is like, share, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate you watching. That's my shout out. That's it.
I got one. And since it's 2 hours left on the eve of, I am going to shout out a member of our group who is probably going to surface in a lot of posts and comments tomorrow. The shout out to Miss Barbara Goodish. I know it's been some years, and things aren't always going to be the same. But when I think about what tomorrow is, I tend to think, as a wrestling fan, I think past myself, and celebrate being a fan of who her husband was. So tomorrow is the birthday of one of our favorites in our group, Mr. Bruiser Brody.
Can I add to that? He is our inaugural inductee into our Hall of Fame as well. So
yes.
we can't forget that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So tomorrow is the birthday of Bruiser Brody. In the group, as far as I'm concerned, his birthday is way more important than mine, which is also tomorrow. But yeah. Happy birthday to Bruiser Brody. Mrs. Goodish, thank you for being a part of what we're doing. Hopefully you catch an episode or two. We definitely will be. Oh man, that would be great. We are definitely going to continue to speak highly of your husband. And again, thank you for being a part of what we're doing.
He's part of the reason why we're all still sitting here talking about what we talk about. So
Sure
again, thank you very much. Again, there's always a seat for you if you ever want to come on and banter and talk nonsense with us if you'd like to.
Oh,
Or
I'm working.
not.
I'm working on our first shoot interview.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on our first shoot interview. I'm working on our first shoot interview.
All right, that's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say. And just remember, folks, as usual, we're a show for the fans, by the fans. You got any ideas, shoot them our way. We'll talk about just about anything. And remember, as usual, like, share, subscribe. We need to be recognized out in public. We want T-shirts too, Mark Jollis.
I don't really need to be recognized in public. I already stand out. I'm 6'6". Let's not,
Yeah, that's
true. Let's not do that.
I just look like your average Joe with a big old head, but it's okay. But, all right, guys. Well, until next week, this is Will. I'm Dan. Dig it. See ya.